I have concerns about Battlefield 2042. Now, that doesn't mean that I am not extremely excited for the game, but it also doesn't mean that the game is 100% perfect at the moment, and it doesn't mean that we can't speculate. And just a quick disclaimer, most of these concerns will be alleviated once we actually get our hands on the game. I just wanted to present these anyway because they're things that I'm just thinking about while we wait on that sort of a thing. So without further ado, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave it a nice, thick, and juicy like. And of course, if you enjoy this kind of content and you want more like it, don't forget to hit that big red sexy subscribe button right underneath the video. Also, just want to say I've been streaming a ton lately, typically live around 1 p.m. Eastern time. So if it's around that time for you, feel free to stop by and say hi after the video. If not, then be sure to hit the notification bell so you can swing by when I do go live. Now, also, I do want to shout out my channel members. You guys help make these videos possible. If you want to join, get access to the exclusive perks that they get, and be sure to check out the link in the description or hit the blue join button. Anyway, let's begin. First concern, specialists. Is it going to play like a hero shooter? We already hear people talk about specialists like their names rather than the classes that they are supposed to be replacing. So instead of calling out, hey, there's an assault player over here, there's a support player over here, it's hey, there's a Webster over there, there's a Maria over there. And it just seems a little bit off. I don't know. Hopefully they don't play like a hero shooter. From what it seems like, they've been really trying to emphasize like these are just kind of replacing the classes and just being a little bit more specialized, but they're not going to be these overpowered heroes with all these crazy abilities. They have like a specialization and they fit into a class role, but they're not Overwatch heroes or like Apex heroes or anything like that. They're the classes, but with names on them, which is a bit odd, but I can kind of see where they're going with that. It definitely feels like a marketing ploy more than anything. But again, we'll have to see if that kind of drop of water in an ocean feeling is still there once we get our hands on the game, or if it does feel a little too hero-y, but that's for when we actually get our hands on the game, like I've already said. Next thing, how will vehicles be balanced? Now listen, I can respect a good vehicle player. There is nothing wrong with that. But is it going to be balanced in an annoying way where you have like the helicopter sweats who like to sit in the attack chopper really high and just hover while someone just uses that main gun underneath and there's no way to counter it? That's not fun. Or like in Battlefield 5 where the tanks can't move because they're too slow to go in and attack and people just destroy them, or you know, they don't have enough turret speed, so they just sit and they tank snipe because that's like the only viable option for them as a tanker. You don't want to just hop in a tank just to get blown up. That's not fun for them, but it's also not fun as an infantry player to get blasted from a mile away. So it needs to be balanced in a way to where both sides of the equation can have a fun time with it, to where the vehicles want to be a part of the fighting so you get that battlefield chaos, but to where they can have a good enough time in the vehicle that they don't feel like they just wasted their time jumping in it and then they don't want to play vehicle anymore. Or, you know, some people that just love tank sniping for whatever reason, or just, you know, heli sweats and whatnot. You want to have a fine balance so that both sides are having fun with the vehicles on the battlefield, because that's what Battlefield is about, you know, combined arms gameplay. I want to see it be good and I want to see it be fun. Now, kind of piggybacking off of that, will the game feature cheese? Now, obviously, every game releases with like overpowered weapons and vehicles, and that's fine because they balance those as the game goes on. And I'm not talking about those because even those are counterable in some way. But how many annoying mechanics, like think about MMGs and anti-material rifles that force you to go prone. How many mechanics like that? Or how many Ilya Muromets type of vehicles where they fly all the way at the flight ceiling and there's no way to counter them as they just rain death upon the entire battlefield? How many of those annoying, cheesy, uncounterable mechanics that are simply there for easy kills and easy dopamine for whoever needs it? How many of those are going to be in the game? Because I don't want those in the game at all. In an ideal world, there would be none. But typically there's at least one or two things in there that are like that, and hopefully it's on the lesser side of that. So, you know, fingers crossed. But we'll have to wait and see. You know, much bigger maps, you know, maybe there are more ways to counter those things because anyone can call in their own vehicle. So maybe, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Now, the fourth concern, and this is much more for things like crossplay and of course PC players is going to have that focus, is what kind of anti-cheat will be in the game. Obviously, I'm primarily a console player, so when crossplay comes into play, that's when I'm really going to have to worry about cheaters. Now, this doesn't count like the Cronus users. You know, if you are a Cronus user, I just want to say, get off your shit bucket and get good. Why do you need someone to aim for you? Like, really? Come on. But as far as like PC players, those cheats can be detected. And hopefully Battlefield 2042, with its popularity, and of course the source code has already been leaked, so apparently cheaters have gotten their hands on that, or people that produce cheats for cheaters have gotten their hands on that. Hopefully Battlefield 2042 has a good anti-cheat system so that these kinds of players, once they're banned for good. Now, we will have things like the portal that, of course, you can have admins who will ban certain players from that server. Hopefully that is something that is really good and can help really solve a cheating issue if it was to arise. Now, I do think one of the key differences between 2042 and Warzone has to do with the free-to-play aspect. Warzone is free to play, so people who cheat, they get banned and then they just come right back on a new account. Now, obviously there's things like IP bans and whatnot that they could do, but that's a whole other conversation. Battlefield 2042, it seems like the main modes, Portal and All Out Warfare, are going to be behind a paywall. Now, whether or not Hazard Zone is going to be a free-to-play part of the game, we don't know yet. If that does blow up and it's free-to-play, it could suffer the same fate as Warzone. We don't know enough about it yet, but it seems that having a paywall in it will help. Now, that being said, there is a precedent from DICE to just let cheaters run rampant. I don't even have to tell PC players that played Battlefield 5 for even a day about that because they already know. So yeah, anti-cheat needs to be taken care of. You're going to the big stage, Battlefield. You got to deal with this kind of a thing, especially because a lot of people are going to want to come over from Warzone, which is rampant with hackers and cheaters. And even though Battlefield isn't going to play like a Warzone because it's a completely different game with completely different and much more fun mechanics, you gotta take care of those things because that's a big concern for those players. And if you want to keep them, you got to take care of that. So if you want to keep anyone, really, if we're being honest. Lastly, Gunplay. Yeah, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to bring up Gunplay. I like it, you know? I like good gunplay. It's fun for me. So what will 2042's Gunplay be like? Because they left Battlefield 5's once good gameplay mechanics in a state of sadness with things like random recoil mechanics that you can't overcome because it's random. It's not like spread. Like playing Battlefield 1, which people complain about its gunplay a lot, you can at least manage the spread in that game. It's not precise still. Like the reason BF4 has my favorite gunplay in the series is because you can manage the spread and you have first shot precision. You can be as precise as your skill allows you to be. But in Battlefield 5, the random recoil, you can't manage it. It either shows up or it doesn't. You're either a laser or you're not. So that's very annoying. So hopefully that kind of a thing is not in the game. Even if they do take a gunplay system inspired by BF5, that's fine, as long as it's the good version of Battlefield 5's gunplay, which is totally sad that I even have to bring up the various versions of one shooting title's gunplay. Why would you change the one thing that is good? Why? Okay, I'm gonna get off of that tangent before I go off in that direction. Anyway, time will tell on the gunplay. Once we get our hands on it, of course, it would be nice to know the mechanics, say whenever the game changers get their hands on the game, if they do that sort of thing where they post content on it. I'd love to hear about the mechanics, but this one is almost exclusively, we will find out when the beta drops type of deal, because I want to feel what it's like. I want to feel what it's like to pick up a gun and shoot. I hope it's satisfying and feels like it has a very good skill ceiling, you know, easy to use but hard to master type of deal. So anyway, those are my 5 concerns for Battlefield 2042. We will know more. Again, I'm just saying, you know, these are my concerns as of right now. I just wanted to present them to you. We will find out more as time goes on, but let me know your concerns down below if you have any. If not, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.